Have you ever seen what 1 pound of fat looks like? So this is 1 pound of fat, and it's bigger than what most people think. Now imagine losing 2 of these every single week, not through starvation, not through extreme workouts, but just in a simple and sustainable way. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, most people aren't able to lose 2 of these a week because they just go about it the wrong way. So whether you've been stuck in a fat loss plateau, starting over, or you're just tired of the noise out there, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps I'd follow if I had to lose 2 pounds of fat quickly but sustainably, without restricting myself and turning my life upside down. So firstly, let's clear something up. Fat loss isn't a mystery, it's not genetics, and it's definitely not luck. It comes down to one thing: a calorie deficit. So to lose 1 pound of fat, your body needs to burn 3,500 calories more than it takes in every week, or take in 3,500 calories less than your maintenance calories. And your maintenance calories are the calories required for you to maintain your current body weight. And you can calculate that using a calorie calculator. So to lose 1 pound a week, that's a 3,500 calorie deficit. Now, if you want to lose 2 pounds, that's 7,000 calories per week, or 1,000 calories per day. Now, that might sound like a lot, and it is. And if you try and create that entire deficit through food alone, which is what most people do, you'll just end up hitting a wall because you'll have no energy, you'll feel miserable, and life overall will just be rubbish. And this is why people end up binge eating. They reduce their calories so much that after a week, they can't take it anymore. So they end up quitting the entire process and going back to their old habits. So this is really not what you want to do. You don't just want to cut 1,000 calories from food because it's going to make it a lot harder. So instead, you want to try and split it. And I would say evenly. So eat 500 calories under maintenance and burn 500 calories more through activity. Now, you can try and burn more calories and reduce the deficit from your maintenance, but trying to burn more than 500 calories a day will become unsustainable, which is why my advice would be to just split it 50-50. So create the deficit by going 50% from food and 50% from activity. And this way you won't feel deprived from starving yourself, and you won't feel like you're doing endless hours of cardio. So it's the most optimal way to do it. And this strategy will really be the difference between short-term and long-term results. So now let's talk about the deficit from food, specifically how to eat 500 calories fewer without feeling hungry. Now this is where most people overcomplicate it or oversimplify it. First step is awareness. Now if you've never tracked food before, I encourage you to do it just for a few weeks, not to restrict yourself, not to judge yourself, but to simply understand what and how much you're actually eating. Use a free app like MyFitnessPal. Now you don't need to pay for the premium version, just log your meals. It's a short-term tool that will give you long-term clarity. And I would suggest not to use apps like Cal AI or something similar, where you take a picture of your food and it tells you the calories, because this isn't going to be accurate. For example, how can it tell the difference between lean beef and higher fat beef? And if it can't tell the difference, then there's a huge difference in calories. So this is going to create a problem because you won't be able to track accurately then. So that's why my advice would be to avoid using apps like this and just stick to MyFitnessPal. Now, once you've tracked your calories for a few days, look back and ask 3 simple questions. What should I eat more of? Now, these are the foods that should fill you up, give you energy, and help you hit your goals. So think veggies, lean cuts of meat, eggs, fruits, sweet potato, and Greek yogurt. And these foods should make up the bulk of your diet. What should I eat less of? Now, these are the foods that add calories very quickly, they don't satisfy you, and they make you feel bloated, tired, or snacky afterwards. For example, you have liquid calories, you have processed food, you have a lot of sugary snacks, and you have these sauces that add like 300 calories plus to your diet. Now, these are the foods that you need to limit or completely cut out. And finally, what's a maybe? Now, these foods don't need to be cut completely, but you might want to watch them. Now, they can be good in moderation, they may need portion control, they're calorific but still useful. So things like nut butters, pasta, olive oil, things like that. Things that are maybe a bit higher in fats but still healthy for you. Now what's great, you don't need to overhaul everything at once. Just shift the ratio. So eat more of the more list, be mindful of the maybe list, and reduce the eat less list. And remember, everyone's choices are going to be different with this, so just base the foods on how it reacts with your body. Next is to prioritize protein and fiber. Protein is your best friend when you're in a calorie deficit. It keeps you full, it preserves muscle, and it boosts your metabolism slightly. So aim to have around 30 to 50 grams of protein every meal, and you can include foods like meat, eggs, Greek yogurt, tofu, and even protein powder, whatever works for you. Fiber is just as powerful. Think veggies, oats, beans, lentils. It slows digestion, it curbs hunger, and it stabilizes blood sugar, so you don't crash and you don't crave sugar an hour after eating. Together, protein and fiber keep you feeling full for hours, making that 500 calorie reduction really feel like no big deal. But the problem is, people barely eat these foods when trying to diet. They eat food from the maybe or less list, and these foods don't satisfy you, and that's why they're always complaining about being hungry. So you really want to have more from that more list. But at the same time, you don't need to completely give up foods that you enjoy. Just follow the 80-20 rule. So eat 80% of your foods for fuel and 20% for fun. Because if completely cutting out your favorite foods make you feel miserable, you'll quit. But if you make space for a treat here and there, you'll stick with it. And that's why sustainability beats intensity every time. Now you may think low-calorie meals are boring and complicated, but they don't have to be. And here's one I personally love. It's 200 grams of lean mince, 100 grams of cottage cheese, 10 grams of butter, and 200 grams of cooked rice. Now this meal takes under 10 minutes to make. It's filling, flavorful, and clocks in under 500 calories. And most importantly, it keeps me feeling satiated for hours. And that's what we're after, meals that are quick, enjoyable, and keep the hunger away. Now I'm going to move on to one of the sneakiest sources of calories that nobody really notices, and that is the stuff we drink. So smoothies, frappuccinos, energy drinks, cocktails, even healthy juices. You can drink 500 calories without even blinking. And the worst part, you're still hungry afterwards. So I had a client who trained hard, tracked his food and walked daily, but he couldn't seem to lose any weight. So he took a closer look and found that he was drinking 2 sugary lattes a day, 600 calories total. So he swapped those out for black coffee and 0-calorie drinks. And that alone helped him to start dropping weight, without even changing a single thing about his diet. So liquid calories can add up very quickly without you even noticing, and it can easily take you from a deficit back into a surplus. But luckily, it's a simple fix. Just ask yourself, am I eating all of my calories or am I drinking some of them? And the answer makes a huge difference, and it will let you know if you need to cut out some calorific drinks. So we've covered the diet. Now let's move on how you can burn an extra 500 calories a day without punishing yourself. Now you don't need to run, do burpees, or sweat buckets on the treadmill. In fact, the most underrated fat loss tool is walking. Just walk for 1 hour a day. No pressure, no pace targets, just walk. And depending on your weight and your speed, that's an extra 400 to 600 calories burnt. And one of the best things that I love about walking is that you can multitask. You can listen to a podcast, call a friend, and just go outside and reset your brain. And if you're someone like me who doesn't feel like they're being productive, then you can actually work while you walk. Walking activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a part of your brain that calms you down, reduces stress, and improves sleep, all of which support fat loss. I've actually invested in a walking pad at home, and it didn't cost much, around $300, but it's one of the best investments I've made, because when I don't feel like going outside or I have a lot of work to do, then I can actually walk in the comfort of my own home. So if you have some money saved, then my advice would be to invest in one of these. Now, walking is one form of activity. You also want to combine this with resistance training at least 3 times a week. Losing fat from eating less food and moving more is one thing, but if you can burn more calories while you rest, that changes the game. And that's really how you stay lean throughout your whole life. But to do this, you need to build muscle mass. The more muscle you have, the more calories you'll burn over time. So it's very important to resistance train. And I would suggest to focus on compound movements like squats, presses, deadlifts, rows, lunges, pull-ups. Remember, big muscles burn more calories. Strength training not only accelerates fat loss, it helps shape your body so that when the fat does come off, you actually like the way you look, instead of just losing a bunch of weight and that's it, which honestly won't look good. You want to build that physique, so when you do get lean, you'll have the aesthetics that I'm sure everyone watching would love to have. But here's the honest truth. You can do everything that I just talked about in this video for 2 days, but if you don't repeat it, then nothing changes. Fat loss rewards consistency, not intensity. So take progress photos, weigh yourself daily and take a weekly average. Notice how your clothes fit, and don't forget to celebrate small wins. 2 pounds of fat loss, that's a victory. 6 days of walking, victory. Tracking your meals for the first time, that's a huge win. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up again and again, even when things get tough. And more importantly, you need to know your why. Why are you doing this? To feel more confident, to show up for your kids, to stop hiding under baggy clothes? Hold on to that, because when your reason is strong enough, motivation stops being a problem. So that's it, and here's the full system in one sentence. Eat 500 calories less, burn 500 calories more, and do it consistently. And that's how you'll lose fat and keep it off. And if you enjoyed the video and found it useful, then make sure to hit that like button to support the channel and subscribe for more actual fat loss advice. And guys, I'm now opening slots for my one-to-one coaching. So if you're serious about losing over 20 pounds of fat and getting lean in the next 3 months and you don't want to faff around, then click the link in the description below to book a call with me. And what's coming up next is this: 10 years of brutally honest fat loss truths. Trust me, you guys don't want to miss this one.